NFL 24. And if it's in the game, it's in the game. It's the Seattle Seahawks and the New Orleans Saints, and it's all up next.
We are down on the bayou as you get a look inside the Superdome here in New Orleans. Coming up, we've got what should prove to be a good one in the NFC, as it'll be the Seattle Seahawks taking on the New Orleans Saints. Up in the booth with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and kickoff straight ahead, CD. What's one thing that you're going to have your eye on?
I think about what the great coaches of the past always said. The key to any ball game. Can you rush theirs and protect yours? Well, in this case, both of these teams get after the quarterbacks. I'm watching the pass rush.
Glad you're with us. It's Blake Groupie to get this one started, and off we go here in New Orleans. Fielded just outside the goal line. And good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20. So out come the Seahawks now for their first possession. And they're led out by their mobile quarterback out of West Virginia. It's Geno Smith.
As I remember back in 2013 when he was drafted out of West Virginia, he was coming off of back-to-back 4,000-yard seasons for the Mountaineers. Hadn't seen as much game time in recent years, but at one point, a capable starter in the NFL.
Here's Walker to start the drive. And he edges forward, but only gets a pair of yards out of it. And it's second down.
I know we can't hear what's going on in that huddle right now, but I'll guarantee you at least one offensive lineman is saying, my bad, we simply couldn't move them off the line of scrimmage. We've got to do a better job trying to root those guys out of there.
Here's a 2nd and 8. Sticking with Walker on second down. And they get him behind the line, so that short gain on first down quickly negated. He lost 2 there, and it's third down.
I thought he did a nice job there setting an edge and make sure nothing could get to the outside. But he decided that wasn't enough for him. Worked his way back inside and made the tackle on the ball carrier.
Throwing on third down, Smith. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Nice job there forcing that incompletion. This is going to be a fun battle throughout this game. Watching him try to take away that area of the field.
The Seahawks send out their punter. Deep for New Orleans is Rashid Shaheed. That'll go as a punt of 34 yards that time. And the Saints will take over with a first down and 10. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. They're led out by their quarterback out of Fresno State, Derek Carr.
It's been fun to watch his development through the years, and right now what you see is a very confident quarterback who has a strong sense of self, totally understands the offense, and knows how to get the ball to his playmakers on the run.
Carr going to lead the Saints up here, 1st and 10. Just shy of midfield at the 49. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Here's Johnson with a reception. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
I know sometimes we can get fooled when we watch him make catches, as we just saw him do there, because he really looks like a wide receiver the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, 230, 240 range.
Yeah, not super huge. Maybe not counted on to be that inline point-of-attack blocker that we used to have in the good old days, but you can flex him out. You can run wide receiver routes with him. You can make him a primary target, and that's how he'll shred a defense.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Pretty effective run there, and now they can start to smell that end zone.
Pound the rock. Make sure you use your O-line to set the tone of dominance and physicality, and pound the rock.
2nd and a couple. Now Carr. That'll be taken in by Shaheed. And he is out of bounds, getting it down to the 10. 7 yards there and a first down.
A little football 101 there. You just see the receiver try to run down the defender, meaning he goes right at him and really trying to move him a little bit towards the center of the field so he can put his foot in the ground and break to the out, to the sideline, and make a catch.
Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon. So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
Still first down.
The false start backs them up 5, 1st and 15. Following the penalty, it's Kamara. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. He'll get 3 of those penalty yards back here, leaving him with a 2nd and 12.
Well, obviously they would have at least liked to have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Instead now, they're dealing with 2nd and long.
I thought they would have passed it after the penalty. Probably wish they would have now. Kamara gets it again on 2nd down. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. 2 yards gets them back to where they started, but now 3rd and 10. And not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Throwing his Carr on 3rd down. And they're going to get him. They bring him down to the sack back at the 16-yard line. Uchenna and Nwosu got the sack there.
We always talk about how teams are so competitively matched and you just want to make those plays that give you an advantage. How about right here? The difference between letting them score a touchdown versus holding them to a field goal? That's absolutely huge with the play he just made.
And you know he hated taking the loss there on 3rd down. So an opening drive field goal maybe doesn't whip this crowd into a frenzy, but I think that they will take the early lead.
There's no doubt about it. They will always take the early lead, and maybe that celebration comes later if they play well and they can break things open. But right now, this is all about letting the offense just get settled in.
So after the field goal, back out his groupie to send this one away. And coming out of the end zone, D. Eskridge. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. Seattle's offense coming back onto the field, ready for their 2nd drive. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
And now a throw on 1st down there, but it's incomplete.
Well, anytime he reads man coverage, I don't think it's going to be the only time he'll try and hit that route to the outside in this game. He'll test the perimeter, but that time they were up to the challenge.
Smith, an incomplete pass on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Geno now to throw. And that one's going to come up a little short. It's incomplete.
How about that? Red man coverage and decided to test them early. But they proved up to the task and forced the incompletion.
The threat of a second straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10. Back to throw, Smith. A throw on the run, but that's going to be incomplete.
2 drives won't tell the story of this game, but you absolutely have to like how this defense has played thus far. They have yet to allow this offense to get on track in this one.
The Seahawks send out their punter, standing just outside his own goal line. Only 29 yards on the punt there. Definitely not his best. And the Saints will have a short field in front of them. They take over here, 1st and 10. New Orleans Saints, they get ready to set up shop for their second drive. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10. Here's Carr to throw. And that throw behind his man. He missed him. Incomplete.
That certainly appeared to be a play call where they were just trying to make 2nd down, 2nd and short. I think they thought the coverage was off a little bit more than it was. Nice job there pressing up on it and forcing the incompletion.
2nd and 10. They'll pound it up the middle with Kamara. And able to push forward for right around 3 yards down to the 42. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or 2 because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
And they'll need to get to the 35 if they want to keep this drive going on 3rd down. Carr now to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Well, that's one way to convert on 3rd down, picking up 26 yards.
That's a big gainer on that play, and from experience, I can tell you, that's where defensive backs will come to the huddle and say, guys, how about some pass rush? But you're going to say it nicely because those big guys up front, they don't like being criticized very much. Quarterbacks in this league, you know they'll pick you apart if you give them time like that to find receivers downfield.
They'll bring a receiver in motion right. And they'll fake the jet sweep there and instead hand it Kamara. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
And they'll send the slot in motion left. He'll get it here on the jet sweep. And that one never got off the ground. He's going to be stopped up well behind the line of scrimmage. Now a timeout as they tend to the injured player. And not the man they would want to see. That's Chris Olave getting medical attention. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury. And we'll be back in a moment. And not an easy spot here. They'll be in search of 13 yards to try to pick up the first. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. Just what Seattle was hoping for. The coverage holds, and now 4th down.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone, and there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
And his kick is right there. It's good, and that will make it 6-0. So scores on their first 2 possessions, but 6-0, so field goal is probably not what they were hoping for.
Man, you're exactly right about that. Not what they were hoping for, but they should be happy that they have points on the board. It almost feels like that old slow and steady wins the race, doesn't it? In this case, though, they want to be slow and steady now, but get explosive later and put the points up on the board.
So a couple of field goals now. 6-0 our score as the kick's away. Here's Moore. He will return it. And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22. Here's the Seattle offense ready to get this drive underway. They're still in search of an initial first down as they come up here 1st and 10. The Smith's throw caught here by Metcalf. And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. 6-0 our score after 1. Seahawk football here to start quarter number 2. As they've got it with a 2nd down and 2 coming up. Now Geno. No chance to get away there for Smith as he goes down. Brian Brzee fought in and got him down. He seemed to have a reasonable amount of time in the pocket, but he couldn't get rid of the football, and the end result, Charles, him on the ground.
Yeah, he's got to keep an internal clock to go along with his offensive line. When you're talking about 3, 4, 5 seconds, that's a reasonable amount of time to expect to deliver the ball downfield. So great to try and complete a pass, but it's equally important to know when to throw the football away, too.
And he is going to have a Seahawks first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better, got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
And the Saints pressure gets him. Brought down for a sack. A well-designed corner blitz that gets him for a loss of 8 yards. And no matter what the situation, the O-line just hates that because they feel like they didn't protect little brother back there, right?
Man, that's just so difficult for them because just think about every single play. When you decide to throw the football, you're dealing with some of the best athletes on the planet. You talk about guys, if they weren't playing football, they'd be starring in the NBA at power forward. It's a really difficult task.
Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
They've had multiple opportunities on offense and still haven't scored any points. Felt like they wanted to loosen things up, throw it downfield, and see if maybe they could get a big play and a quick strike.
The Seahawks send out their punter as he's on to kick it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. So possession goes over here on the punt. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And their 2 drives thus far both led to points, albeit both field goals, so the lead just 6-0, but the ability to move the ball is evident.
Well, that's, heartening, as they say, but it's not what they're about. What they're about is putting the ball in the end zone and putting 6s on the board. So if you're the offensive coordinator, you like what you're doing, but you don't love it. You've got to find a way to ring that bell. Then you can have a little self-satisfied grin. Right now, a little more determination is needed.
Now a nice throw here, right side. He hauls it in. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
first down. A throw out wide going to be incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. Kamara up the middle. They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves them with 3rd and 9 looming.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
The line to gain is the 33 on 3rd down. Now Carr. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks' 25-yard line. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down.
That was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
They'll send a receiver in motion to the left. Saints. Juwan Johnson, 25 yards for the touchdown. And the Saints are able to add on to that lead. Their first passing touchdown of the ball game, and they go to the big tight end in those sure hands, and he provides the score.
Certainly looked like they were focused on taking away all their weapons, and he certainly made them regret that because he found the soft spot, ended up taking it to the end zone. Nice throw, too, to complete the play.
Groupie able to add the PAT, and the lead now stands at 13. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. This fielded right at the goal line. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The Seahawks take back over. Still in the first half, but this offense has struggled. Haven't really been able to get anything going, not only in the points category, but in the yards category. We'll see if they can do better here on this drive. Now Smith and the Seahawks going to come up 1st and 10 at their own 22. Hands it to Walker to begin the series. And a short pickup to about the 25. Now the offense knew it. They were already starting to walk back as that one is accepted. Here's Smith. His throw incomplete.
I know tight ends love this route because a lot of times they'll fake a block first and get a little bit of space and then come across the middle because in their mind, they're thinking catch the ball and then drop the hammer on the little guys in the secondary.
Unable to drop the hammer, he just dropped the pass. On 2nd down, here's Smith. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
Well, partner, guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make 3rd down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big 3rd down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
3rd and long, it's Smith. He'll let this go deep for Smith and Jigba. And got his man complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. The defense shaking their heads, not aggressive enough, and they allow them to convert a 3rd and 18. Two minutes remaining in this first half of football. A reminder that when halftime rolls around, Jonathan Coachman will have all the highlights and analysis of this first half of play from our studios in Orlando. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
All right, help me out here a little bit, partner, because what I'm seeing is a passing game that's just struggled to complete anything. No rhythm, no timing. Seems like every pass is also contested well, so give some credit to the defense.
Smith, an incomplete pass on first down. Now it's 2nd and 10. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. It's caught. Lockett. 9 yards, and that leaves him just short, so it'll be 3rd and less than a yard. Clock running, and the Seahawks, they're running too, trying to speed up to the line of scrimmage. Smith on 3rd down. And that ball incomplete, nearly intercepted. Took a chance with that one. It'll lead to a 4th down.
They really had a good drive going there, but a nice recovery by the defense these past few downs. Able to knock that one away on 3rd down and bring up what I think for the offense, an unexpected 4th down here.
Oh, it's a wobbler here. And this will carry out of bounds. Where are they going to spot it now? At about the 18-yard line, it looks like. The New Orleans offense set to take over. And still plenty of time remaining here in the half, more than a minute. And we'll see if they just want to protect that lead or try to add on to it.
Well, with as much time as is left on the clock, I would imagine it would be the latter. I think they're going to try and add on to it. So what they're going to tell the team is very simply, if you can get out of bounds after making a play downfield, terrific. If you can't, everyone hustle to the line of scrimmage, either run another play or clock it and start over again.
They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. And he maneuvers up the middle for 3. And it's 2nd down.
It may be only a gain of 3 yards, but that back, he deserves a lot more credit on the play. That could have easily been stopped at the line, but his vision and his determination found some space to turn it into that modest gain.
Creeping up on a minute to play in this first half. Throwing now is Carr. He gets it left side to Johnson. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. On 1st and 10, here's Carr. They'll get this out to Kamara. And a result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game, after a while, they might just run through some of those tackles and go a long way.
Well, we saw him shed a nice tackle on that play. Meanwhile, Carr's throw complete there to Johnson. And he's got this down a yard or 2 shy of the 40 before he's out of bounds. The Saints passing game in sync and moving the football. That's a 1st down. Now Carr. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front.
It certainly looks like they still have some fight in them on this series because it seemed like things were headed for the red zone. But if this defense gets 2 more stops, they can keep them out of that area.
Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. Again, he'll drop to throw. Here's Johnson with a reception. Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2. As it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the first half. Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. Into the red zone. It's Carr. And that's going to be incomplete. 12 seconds left. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
Darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
Here's 2nd and 10. Carr going to throw. Throwing quickly to Wilson. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. From the left hash, should be a fairly easy one here. And his kick is indeed good, and that will extend their lead even further. So he's been a busy man here in this first half. That's 3 field goals for him now.
And not just 3 field goals, but 3 for 3. So even though the offense has struggled a bit putting it in the end zone, they've still been able to come away with points due to his leg.
So barring a touchback, this likely the final act of the half as the kick is away. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we'll get you over to Orlando, where standing by is Jonathan Coachman. He has our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, back to you guys in just a moment, but welcome everyone to our Creative Village studios in the EA Sports Halftime Report. For the Saints, this is why they signed him. They got a strong performance from their quarterback, Derek Carr. He's got a touchdown pass on the ledger as his guys were able to build a double-digit lead.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Set now to go for the third quarter. The Saints have the lead and set to receive the kick. And he returns this to the 22. The Saints going to take over on offense to begin this third quarter. And Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
They start the second half with Kamara, and he'll work this forward for about 3 at second down. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
And they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin too.
2nd and 7. Again, it's Kamara. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
A 10th carry for Kamara. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. 41 yards rushing for him now to this point.
Now that was an excellent run. And when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So when they block on a big-time running play and create extra space,
taking it right down Broadway. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. A big-time play there for New Orleans. 43 yards.
Another big play right there. And this is where, as an offense, you can really put the hammer down. You've got a double-digit lead, but those other guys, they've been hanging around. A touchdown here could put this game out of reach, and that's a strong step towards getting it done.
So after the big play, look at this, all the way down at the 15 now on 1st and 10. To throw, it's Carr. Gets this complete to Shaheed. They had the huge play last time. Here it is a much smaller gain of 2.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air, and sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect.
Just looking at it from a defensive perspective, when you break the huddle in the red zone, tight end is one of the guys you've got to key on because quarterbacks want the ball in their hands fast in this position, and they want to get it to someone. And in this case, he had the play. They just didn't complete it.
Throwing his Carr on 3rd down. They'll set up the screen now to Kamara. Touchdown! Kickoff of the 3rd quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. So another touchdown there, and even though we're still just here in the 3rd quarter, kind of hard now to see them giving up this lead.
And this is just an offense that's imposing its will right now. You name it, they're able to do it. If you're the play caller, whatever you want to select is there. You want to run it, you want to throw it, pick a play, any play. They're rocking and rolling right now.
The point after, good by Groupie. And that pushes the lead up to 23. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. Taking it about the 1. And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30. Now we'll see what this Seahawks offense has in store with their first possession of the 2nd half. And their halftime hole now even deeper. And they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the 2nd half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
Now a 1st down throw. It's Smith. And he's got Smith and Jigba. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
Well, we talk all the time about playing situational football, and right now I think the scoreboard is dictating what they need to do. Where they are in this game, they've got to push the ball downfield, take their shots, try and get big chunks of yardage in a short amount of time. That was a nice play there.
Well, they run the option here on 1st and 10. And maybe the wrong read there as he's going to go down immediately. The play over before it really got started thanks to Pete Werner.
Well, we saw a lot of negative plays that resulted in plenty of lost yardage in the 1st half, and that trend is continuing here.
Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss. Now a play fake, and it's Smith. He hits his target, Lockett. And this is going to be another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Saints' 21. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup.
It's taken a while for this offense to get going. A little creaky at the start, but they're oiled up now. A nice throw there, and they're really putting together a good drive.
Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
And not a common sight, at least on this drive. A momentary setback, though, for this passing game that has been moving well this series. Good thing for them, though. Still 2 more downs to connect and try and pick up another first down.
Glad to be in the great city of New Orleans, rolling along here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 10. Geno now to throw. Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29. No surprise there. Chase Young wrecks that play with a sack.
The passing game's been struggling a bit today, and that was the latest example. Haven't been getting much yardage out of it, and now on his back after the last play, he faces 3rd and long.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And this is going to be incomplete. 4th down after the New Orleans defense holds serve.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on 3rd down.
On comes the Seahawk kicker here on 4th down. It's Jason Myers. Spotted at the left hash, this from 45. Myers' kick is good, and that'll get this back down to a 20-point spread. So the 3 points there, and CD, that helps them inch a bit closer.
Yeah, partner, when you're losing, any points you see go on the board in your favor, you're happy to take them.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
A first down run, not going to get him a whole lot. Maybe a yard. Yeah, it looks like just 1 yard there, so that'll bring up 2nd and 9.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
2nd and 9 now from the 21. They run it again with Kamara. And he's upended after a gain of 4 up to the 25-yard line.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Saints on 3rd down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. And he is going to lose yardage here. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
That's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
Here comes the Saints punter now. Always a good sign when your first punt comes in the 4th quarter. And it's fielded at the 34. It's a 40-yard punt, 6 yards on the return. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. Now the ball now going back over to the Seattle Seahawks offense. Even though they were able to force the punt defensively, still a big hole to climb out of, especially at this late stage of the contest. So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10 at the 40. Now Geno. And that one off the mark behind him, incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Smith, an incomplete pass on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Throwing now is Geno. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
That's coverage you'd expect to see in a tie game late. Not in a lopsided game like this. They are not letting up.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Now Smith. And that is incomplete. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same Surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
Now on 4th down here, that pass knocked away and incomplete. The Seahawks go for it but can't convert. And the Saints are going to get it back and in great shape. A gutsy decision there at this stage in the second half in their own territory, and a decision that they might regret.
Can't wait for the post-mortem. You know, this post-game press conference, because the questions are going to come fast and furious about this decision, no matter how the game turns out, right? What were you thinking there? Why? Did you have a certain play call? Were you confident in your defense? Oh, yeah. Why? It's going to keep coming up.
Yeah, no matter the scoreboard, just tough to justify. Now a 1st down carry. It's Kamara. And he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line. 64 yards rushing for him in the ball game now on 14 carries. Another example of this offense really having their way, Charles, and another big chunk play there on the ground.
And then when you look at the defense, they've got to do a much better job of wrapping up when they tackle. A lot of great opportunities continue to slip through their fingers, as do the runners.
Staying on the ground on 1st with Kamara. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Well, 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
As this old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. A man who's been busy this afternoon, it's Kamara again. And he's going to come up well short as they rally up to stop him at about the 16. It'll be a gain of 4, but it won't be enough. It leaves them with a 4th down now. So Carr departs, and on is Blake Grupe for the Saints field goal. A 33-yarder from the left hash. And his kick is good. And that will extend their lead even further. Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so that you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
So after the field goal, back out is Grupe to send this one away. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. And last time, went for it on fourth, didn't get it. See if they can pick themselves up off the mat and do better this go-around.
Sometimes I have this vision of coaches writing notes to themselves before a game, and sometimes that note says, be aggressive, stay aggressive. Maybe that's what we saw in the last possession.
Yeah, they were very aggressive. This time, will it result in points? We'll find out. On 1st and 10, Smith. Open man, that's Noah Fant, the tight end. It'll be a gain of 5, and it'll be 2nd down. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Smith. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
Oh, I like the calmness of how he played the ball here. No panic in his eyes as that throw arrived. Tracked it from the moment it left the quarterback's hand, and that's just where he needed to be to knock it away.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. A shotgun snap for Smith. Throw out wide to Walker. And he is going to have a Seahawks 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. What a throw right there for the 1st down. He has taken some real punishment in this game, but still standing in the pocket completing that one.
He's a flat-out warrior. There's no question about that. How about him stepping up into the teeth of the rush and delivering there for that big strike and that big pickup?
Now Geno on 1st down. And this one too low. I think this is what this game's become now. Just go deep, see if we can get something to go our way.
Yeah, not the most creative or most inventive play call there, but not much has worked for them throughout this game. They're almost at a loss about what to dial up.
Smith, an incomplete pass on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10. They'll look to throw again. That is taken in by the tight end Fant. And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. That one covers 24 yards. It's a 1st down. Throwing again is Smith. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. Defensively, you look at the numbers. Another incomplete pass that we just saw, and they're under 200 yards passing for the game, so they've done their job on that side of the ball.
Yeah, recently I was actually working a game where a quarterback had a streak of 5 straight games without a 200-yard game, and that was a big talk both in his town and amongst his team. How do we get the passing game going?
Oh, he tries to get it to Metcalf, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Paulson Adebo. And the Saints are going to get the football here as he gets this up to the 38-yard line. And that pretty much has been the storyline, Charles. This defense, they seem to be one step ahead from the start of the game until now.
And you identified it perfectly, and we can see the frustration that's settling in now. And it's probably been there for a long time, but now it's evident because you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their body language, maybe even a little bit in that play call that ended up maybe closing them out.
Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at their 38. Trying to run down some clock with Kamara. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Saints football as we get you reset. 38-yard line, 2nd and 11. Now a handoff. Here's Kamara. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That'll wind up as a loss on the play, so now they're staring at a 3rd down and 12.
Now that's a nice play. Got me fired up, partner. But can they do it back-to-back plays? All the training that you go through as a defense for these situations, when you have to get the ball back, Everything you go through, holding up the runner, raking at the football, getting to the passer, knocking it out of his hands, whatever way, they have to get the ball back.
Now can they stand tall again for a huge fourth quarter stop? And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who is shaken up. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside. Here comes the Saints punter now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. And this will be taken at the 13. 43 yards on the punt, 7-yard return, and they will take over 1st and 10. As Seattle now ready to march out of the field. Well, probably not much that they can do at this point, CD. Down 3 scores late in the fourth quarter. This is going to be a little too much to overcome, you would think.
Yeah, they'll go down swinging, but in the end, I think we saw the writing on the wall a while back because one team was clearly better than the other in this one. And while it didn't quite reach blowout status, I think we knew who was going to win this one well before we got to this stage.
And Smith, and this throw finds Smith and Jigba. It'll go down as a gain of 6. And that'll bring up 2nd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And he knocks the ball away and it falls incomplete.
Well, these guys are not going to go out with their tails between their legs. They're going to keep taking their shots until the clock's at 000. But that one, like a lot of others, winds up incomplete.
Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. To throw is Smith. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. Now the Seahawks call the 2nd of their 3 timeouts, as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this fourth quarter. Smith on 1st down. And his throw is incomplete.
As a corner, you have to be able to run with guys step for step downfield in man coverage and make up ground quickly in zone. You have to put yourself in position to make plays, just like that one we saw there.
Smith, an incomplete pass on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Again, he'll drop to throw. And his throw's going to be incomplete. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Throwing on 3rd down, Smith. He'll let this go deep for Smith and Jigba. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Looks like they're going to keep throwing to the bitter end. This one's long since over, but give them credit. They're going to go down fighting. That one, incomplete.
The decision made for them. They've got to go. It's 4th down. Here we go on 4th. Smith. And a penalty flag comes in as that one winds up incomplete, but the contact is going to move the ball well downfield. Well, obviously, they never want to see penalties on that defense, but this one a little bit more significant there on the downfield pass play.
And coaches preach it all the time. You can't put yourself in that kind of position if you're the defender. You've got to stay in a spot far downfield where you can play the ball without creating extra contact.
Smith and Jigba hauling it in on the out route. And now here comes their final timeout as they take it with 8 ticks remaining. Again, Smith. Going right back to Smith and Jigba. And he'll be taken down here, and that is how this one is going to come to an end.